military guy. And the military you can think of as a type of business for the purposes of sexual harassment and working with women. But it does have special rules on top of what we in the civilian world deal with. So he writes, I am a former staff sergeant in the Air Force who recently separated at 16 years. I was found guilty of sexual harassment, verbal, of Staff Sergeant Shauna, and then there's another girl, SRA, I don't know what that is, Carrie. I was sentenced to a reduction from Master Sergeant to Staff Sergeant and reprimanded. Lieutenant Colonel Jason notified me he was recommending I receive an involuntary separation. That is a discharge. And he got a general under honorable conditions discharge. Both Staff Sergeant Shauna and SRA Carrie falsely accused me of sexual assault and sexual harassment. So they wouldn't be punished for making a false official statement, for lying about adultery and a couple other things. So what this guy is talking about or saying is that women lied in order to avoid getting in trouble, or they lied, we're going to get in trouble, and then they lied about him, accused him of sexual harassment and sexual assault, rape, right? On official statements, both committed adultery. They lied about that, these girls. The legal office in the military turned a blind eye and didn't punish or prosecute them for their perjury, their lying. During my motions, right, she lied openly and said she'd never heard about a certain sexual joke. And I know the reason I highlighted that is when you work with women, they pretend to be men. Right? We're all equal. Let's all pretend to be men. And one of the things that men do is we make jokes about sexual situations. Sexual innuendo is a big part of our world because we're men. We have cocks, right? Things are funny, and we make jokes about it. And women will laugh, but they put that in their bank. They keep a container, their little memory bank, to keep track of jokes and comments so that they can use that to make a complaint later and get men in trouble. Right? It is very, very common. So working with women is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Okay. You know, during the investigation of my sexual assault allegation, OSI, which is their investigative service, uncovered text messages between Tech Sergeant Eric and myself talking about his unprofessional relationship with Staff Sergeant Shauna. Right? The commander, the first sergeant at the time, everyone knew about these messages and declined to investigate. Right? Tech Sergeant Eric went on social media and harassed me by referring to me as a fucking rapist. His leadership was notified of what he said. He was not punished. Now again, the fellow that wrote this letter that Greg informed me about, he was demoted even though he was found innocent. And then he was discharged because of the allegations. While this other fellow goes on social media and calls him a fucking rapist. Right? And this Tech Sergeant Eric did not truthfully fill out his SF-86 for his top secret security clearance with regard to his wife's employment as a pornographic actress. Right? I was told multiple times during my investigation, subsequent court-martial and discharge board, that this is business and is nothing personal. Now what's interesting is that claim that it's nothing personal and it's just business. That is used to stymie men's attitudes. Right? Oh, it's nothing personal. Well, the fuck, it's not personal. Right? These women took it personal and complained about sexual harassment in the workplace. They've got no problem saying it was personal and it affected them negatively, professionally. It created a hostile work environment. Right? They felt like they were being used. Whatever the complaint is for sexual harassment, it's of the personal and professional nature. But you can see how the system prefers women. It protects women. Right? They didn't get in trouble, but a master sergeant did. Right? command wanted to protect them. And it did. And this is very, very common, not just in the military, but the military does have special rules to protect marriages, right? There is no adultery allowed, right? You're supposed to have not only professional relationships, relationships are professional above and beyond just treating each other well. You have to behave professionally in the military. So anything you do can be regarded as unprofessional. Now, before women entered the workplace in the military, that was a man's world, right? It's about killing and blowing shit up. And women worked their way into it. And I believe it was social engineering. It has emasculated the military. And women have emasculated the workplace. And they're going to continue to do this. They masquerade as men until it's time to punish men. It is very much in the workplace. There's a way that it acts just like a marriage. And that is that you go along thinking everything's all right. Everyone is playing the game. But when it's time to punish you, the man, the woman is given great advantage in how the rules are applied, and great sympathy from those who investigate and then prosecute. It's very important to understand this in the workplace. And the more women you have, the harder it is. So I strongly recommend to Greg and Pete and everyone else on the planet, be careful with women in the workplace. They are a deadly nuisance to your career, and as demonstrated by this master sergeant who was heavily demoted and then forced. He was discharged against his will before he could retire. 16 years in, no retirement benefits. Holy shit, right? But he could have gone to prison because of the allegations, the lies, and these lies were shown to be demonstrably false. Right? They were retribution. Now, if I had a woman complain about me in any way professionally, and then I went back and tried firing her or demoting her for what she had done, or for any reason, she could claim that it was retribution. It was punishment for what she had done. Right? You could see how men are punished. It's easy to see when you examine every case. And especially in the military. The military is, like I said, supposed to be about blowing shit up and killing people. As a Marine, that's what we did. That's your job. Kill people. And when you emasculate that, when you turn it into a social circus and an experiment, you make that machine less effective. Because more time is spent worrying about the interactions between males and females than about doing your primary job, which is killing people and blowing shit up. In the business world, our primary function is to run a profitable business. There we go. And it needs to be done in a moral way, right? Fair dealings, proper ethics, and when you introduce women into that scenario, we get nothing but problems, because the same games are played. What they want to get, and they're going to use all advantage they can. Women will pretend to be like men until it's time to step back and go, but I'm just a girl. You can't talk to me that way. You can't make those jokes, right? You've punished me. I didn't get the promotion I wanted, and believe me, I know about women who think they've earned a promotion and they haven't, how they go after everybody. And I mean everybody. People below them, people above them, and people who are tangential or the same rank or same skill level. They think they should have it. Now, I know men think that way too, but they don't punish people for it, and that's the difference. Men, if you don't get the job, what do? You go, fuck it, I'm going to quit this job and get another, or I'm going to try harder, or I'll get it next time. Women go after people. They want their jobs. They want someone fired. They want relationships at work destroyed. They become assassins in the work world. they take morale down. The whole thing is just disgusting. And so women wonder, geez, why is it men have so much problem with marriage? Why is it men have so much problem professionally? Why are there so many problems in the military? It's because of women in the way, and it's driving men to go Mgtow, men going their own way, because we're sick of the bullshit. Life is hard enough. It's hard enough to get ahead. It's hard enough to relax. It's hard enough to enjoy life without having someone purposefully become a corrosive element in your life. Now, when I was in the military, way back 30 years ago, I didn't like women who outranked me, not because of their vaginas, but because of their inability to do the things that were required. Right? From physical ability to skill, right, to general competency in the military. Always worried the shit out of me. And then there was the morale busters. Right? If women were around, men wanted to fuck them. Right? If we're worried about women, we're not worried about killing people and blowing shit up. There is a similar problem in the world's professions, with women in the workplace performing in men's roles, becoming competitive with men, using sex to get what they want and control men and punish men. Right? Men going their own way. If we can at least clean up our personal lives, then we can deal with the other shit a little easier. But who knows what's going to happen, right, in this world? Is it going to go back to being the way it was? Probably not. Not in the world of professionalism. But men will continue to try and get away from women and set their sights on their own careers and place themselves in positions where they can't be punished. And you can't blame men. You can't. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the talk. Thank you for donating through PayPal and Patreon. It's very much appreciated. Trust me. Good cigars, very much appreciated. Good scotch, good golly, good stuff. Anyways, thank you again. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Semper Fi. I have the penis. So do you. You look in the mirror. You're the man. You make it happen. Protect yourself. Go Mgtow.